Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Executive Suite. I'm so excited to be here. This is actually my favorite time of the month. I am your girl, TeQuila Shabazz. I am wife, mother to one adult daughter, friend, social entrepreneur, leader, teacher, writer, speaker, disruptor, risk taker, creator of my own peace, joy, and happiness. I'm exactly who I say I am, and sometimes what I know not, right? Because it's just God's plan. I am timeless, but I was born again in 77. I'm part of the Gen X generation. Some of the things that I just despise is groupthink. I love critical thinkers, innovators, imaginators, clicks, and blind followers. Not my thing, right? And that is definitely not our guest or any of the guests that come on our show. And I'm so excited to introduce you guys to who we have. But first, if you don't know, I am the founder of Key Virtual Support Solutions, which is an agency that matches entry to executive level virtual assistants with busy professionals that need help organizing their personal and professional lives. You know, one thing about us as women, Black women especially, is that we have a superwoman syndrome. We like to do everything ourselves, and we could be looking like we're thriving and doing all this, but behind the doors, we like drowning. Like, and so people come to me, they're like, TeQuila, I need help. So I created the Executive Suite space for self-made, high-achieving, high-earning women to have candid conversations about real life experiences on our way to and through success. Our purpose is not to only share our perspectives and lessons, but also dispel some common myths that come with the territory of being driven, ambitious, and focused as a woman, right? So I am so happy to introduce you to our guest this afternoon. We have, hold on here. Let's bring her back in. There we go. Now we're here. Everybody's here. There we go. That's what I need. Sorry, I just did a whole mixy. We have Kiana Barber with WDB Marketing and Aisha Taylor Issah with Expo. And one thing that I don't do is I don't do reading of bios, right? I let people tell you about themselves. So this first segment that we have, I call it the story, right? So we want to get to know Kiana, we want to get to know Aisha in their own words. Okay, so we're going to start with you, Kiana, and we're just going to talk for a few minutes about who you are, and I have some questions for you. So the first question I have is, who is Kiana Barber? Now that may or may not be separate from what you do, right? If you notice, I started this with telling people like who I am as TeQuila, not what I do. Sometimes they go together, but I think that we're bigger than our jobs. So I want to know who Kiana Barber is. And now tell me past, present, and future who you are.
Oh, TeQuila always gonna stump you with something, right? Make you think this afternoon. Past, present, and future. Well, one of the things that I've always consistently been is a woman of God. I was a child of God when I was younger. God's always guided my life. And being a person that can relate to people and support people. So that's who I am as a foundation, and that's been amplified, of course, through my business. So who I am now is a woman that is determined to leave an impact on this world and improve her community. Like that's honestly my mission. That's what I do every day. That's what I do even with my friends, that it's all about how we can elevate and how we can change. So we know what's happened in the past. I'm very big, as you know, I'm very historical. So I love to think about the people who have paved the way before us and what they've done. And I'm always thinking, how can I leave my mark? If they were able to do this in the 60s and the 70s or in the 1800s and the 1900s, and they were change makers and they were disruptors, why would I not, when I have so much more opportunity, so much more privilege, why wouldn't I be able to leave even more of an impact? So I'm just a woman that's really trying to impact and change the community that I live in, that God put me in.
You ain't trying, you doing. Who is future Kiana?
So future Kiana Barber is, I am still trying to figure out. I just made the 40 mark, so I think I made a lot of noise every time. So I think future Kiana Barber is more intentional about the work that she does. Honestly, a little bit more selfish, a little bit more selfish on not necessarily what I feel like I'm supposed to do for everybody else, but what it is that I truly feel in my spirit that I need to do. So the future Kiana, I'm trying to be more unapologetic trying to be more intentional again about what it is that I want to do, even if it completely changes, even if I completely pivot and you see me living in Africa 5 years from now doing something completely different. I think that's what I'm trying to embrace because we realize the older we get how short life really is. So even what we
Yes.
aspired to do when we were 20 and 30, it's like when you turn, you like, you know what? I got 30, 40 good years. And if I want to do something completely different, I don't owe it to anybody. So even with me driving for impact and trying to change, if I want to do that in a completely different way, that's who I really want to become is a person that lives unapologetically and not afraid to change and go after whatever it is that I want to do or what I feel like God is telling me to do.
Man, you are speaking to my heart. That is my love language. I am the queen of pivoting and doing what I want. And a lot of that happened to me at 40, or that change started to happen at 40, where it's like,
Mm,
you know what? I'm gone. This life is short. I'm about to travel the world. Here, take all this stuff, pack it up, did
absolutely.
it. I'm going to start this business, and not only am I going to start this business, I'm going to blow this business out the box, right? Doing things that I'm scared to do. When I'm overwhelmed, when I'm tired, I'm going to keep going, but I'm also going to honor myself. So I'm in a space of self-love and honoring myself and really being aligned with what God's purpose is for me as well. So I love that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about how you make your money, Kiana.
How I make my money. Say, things have aligned. So I make my money supporting mainly Black owned businesses. So empowering others to be able to be successful. So I am in a very blessed position to do what I do. So we own a graphic design and printing company. So we work with over 1,000 small businesses every year. 95% of them are small Black owned businesses. And we help them with everything, their brand identity, their vision for their business, their strategy, all the way down to the print. I'm always proud to say, over the course of the years, which we might talk about, I went from outsourcing everything to actually being a print manufacturer. So now we control most of the production in house. So we print everything from brochures, business cards, custom T-shirts, backdrops. So we're like the one-stop shop for small businesses. And I feel like we are a solution for so many small businesses that feel like they're on their own.
Yeah.
When they come to WDB, we are not perfect, but we really do our best to try to help you and support you. And it's more than just about an order. We really want to make sure that you successful. We follow our customers' journeys. We try to connect them. So at the heart, we really a connector and a factor in small businesses and Black owned business being more successful.
Yes, I absolutely love that. Now, look, I want to take this time to let you guys know, if you just tuning in for the first time, make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you are following our Executive Day. I'm sorry, our Executive Suite page. I look down and see Don and Day creation. Okay. I've seen all of that. So make sure that you are doing that, and make sure you drop in the box where you are tuned in from. Are you tuned in from YouTube? Are you tuned in from the Executive Suite fan page, the personal page? Let me know. What city are you in? I got a gift for the most engaged audience member. So if you're in the Executive Suite, and I see we have quite a few people on, get to talk and ask your questions, throw the fire signs up when you hear that fire. We want to know. So anyway, I wanted to take some time to get to our Executive Suite audience. I wanted to acknowledge you guys. Thanks for being here, Kiana. But back to you, honey. How did you get into the business that you're in?
You know what? It was very interesting. I always tell people ask me did I know what I wanted to do when I was young? And the short answer is yes. I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was always hustlers in my family. So not as much formal entrepreneurship outside of my granddad, but just people who were always using their gifts to be able to generate money. So I knew in high school that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Graduated from college, fast forward a little bit, 2004 from Northwestern, and had an idea to start a family business in California with my brothers, my two brothers, and my mom. And during that time, my brother actually was up here helping us get ready for the move and kind of brainstorming about entrepreneurship, and he got killed. So he got killed in November of 2004. Only had been up here visiting on and off for a couple of months, and we literally had a meeting the day before he passed away, and we talked about how are we gonna make our first million as a family. And I had this idea again. I wanted to go to California, open up a clothing store. This is 15 years of urban hip fashion, was his peak. And he had started this promotional company called What's the Business. And he was like, no, Ken, I'm telling you, it's What's the Business. We're going to host events. We're going to do all these things. And that was kind of the furthest thing from my mind at the time. But again, just being still and listening to God, like at my hardest moment, we hadn't even had it yet, and I just prayed that whatever He didn't do to do it through me, and it was so clear, and I heard, and it was, what's the business? And it was like He
Mhm.
spoke to me, and again, God gave that gift to me because the day before He passed away, we had that meeting. So I really didn't have any experience in entrepreneurship. I was working part time at a consulting firm, and I just decided to live out His dream. So within about 4 months of his passing, I hosted my first event. I'm a hip hop head to TeQuila, in case you don't know. Back in the day, I used to love battles. I used to love battles. So I hosted a battle at Mr. G's, I never forget, in his honor. And we had self-taught graphic design, learned how to design the flyer myself, promote it, and let people know about it. And that first event, we had over 100 something people come out. And that was the spark of my entrepreneurship journey. And for the first couple of years, I was literally just trying to figure out volunteering, working with everybody, doing whatever I could do, especially, doing event promotions. You understand it's a different industry. It's
Yeah.
kind of hit or miss. But I did that for about 2 years until I kind of found my rhythm. And I realized that I was making more money designing for people, doing more promotions for them than I was on my own events. So I pivoted after 2 years and turned what was kind of a hustle doing events into a full-fledged actual design firm. And that was the birth of WDB Marketing.
Love that. So now how many years has it been?
We
Did you
have been in
say?
business for 16 years. Technically, I know if people count, I did my first event in 2005. But I always count when I formally got incorporated in '06.
Okay.
So we are 16 years in the making, and 14 of them focused on the marketing and print side.
And what's so interesting is that you have built a family business, correct,
Mhm.
with WDB. I mean, your mom is heavily involved. I see your other brother there supporting a lot, and we consider you family anyway in the
Yes.
community. So the extended family. So also, let me ask you this: How do you? This is a very subjective question. How do you define success?
That's great. I would say by impact.
Mm,
So I'm just like, that's just my word. I'm always about impact. And it's not, I'll give a great example of, I've always felt successful and I've always felt determined. So when I decided to pivot to WDB, had no money, I was working part-time, and I literally jumped off a cliff, got opened up my own office space. It was a shared space, $300 a month for rent. Success for me back then was being able to pay that $300. It was the 15 people who came and ordered. I was excited for every single order. So success to me has always been about doing what you say you were going to do and accomplish that. No matter how small it is, no matter how big it scales. So people all the time see, I'm in my building, thank God we own this building. But it took
yes,
some time to get to that. But to me, along the way, it was always about my vision and executing on that vision and improving on it. Like I said, when I had those 10 or 15 customers, I mean, I was excited. The first time I said, I can't believe we serviced 100 people. And again, not even just servicing the people, but feeling like you did right by them, feeling like you were able to support them. So I felt successful always along the way because I feel like we always been somebody who made an impact. We
yes.
always, who we are now is who we were
When
14,
you
15
start,
years ago. And to
yep.
me, that's what success is. It's not just what people define as these bigger accolades and things that you might get away.
Yeah. And you know what? Talk about how important family is to that, right? Like because you like I always knew I was successful. I
Mhm.
always, but I mean when I hear you saying I want to you came back, you wanted to start this business with your brother, how involved your mom is, like how important has that been to your overall success, having that support from your family?
That's something that I talk about a lot because a lot of people say they didn't have that. So I would say my mom has been my foundation. So one thing I would say, and this is to any parent out there, if you really instill in your kids that they can do anything, but not only that they can do anything, but that you will be there with them to support them along the way, it is no ceiling to where they can go. So I would
Yeah.
honestly say my mom was that foundation, as you mentioned. She helped me those early on years. She was at that office, that small office, every single day with me because she believed in that dream. But that's the same mom that showed up for me in high school when I wanted to move graduation from inside to outside. We needed a parent to volunteer. She was the one that volunteered. So her always being there and feeling like she would always be there to support me is important. And then the rest of my families, I'm coming out with my book soon. So I'm gonna be talking about my background because a lot of people don't know my background. And I tout in the book that I come from a family of hustlers. I come from a family of If you don't have anything today, guess what? If you got something to sell, you can have a whole lot tomorrow. So seeing my dad and my uncles and always had a hustle spirit was the other side. Because again, early on in entrepreneurship, you're not making money. You're not that successful,
Yep.
but that hustle, that drive. So having that built in me, so I'm not just book smart. You got to be willing to sacrifice and do whatever it takes. So my family background, that helped me to get to where I'm at now.
Man, that definitely matters. It is a mindset shift. It is a hustle. It is sacrifice. It is long days. It is
Yes.
days bleeding into weekends. You like, wait, it's a year that went by already. What are you talking
Yes.
about, right? So, I mean, you literally lose sight of time. Sometimes it's relationships that are sacrificed. It's just a lot that most people are not willing to do. That's why most businesses don't survive past the 5 year mark. They be
Yeah,
gone. Right?
and it's a lot that people don't see. So again, we see the success, like we see the Amazon pictures and all of that stuff, but people see where we are now, but you don't see all the sacrifice that was made. So like you said, if you jump into it, not realizing I tell this, I had the same car for 10 years. Even though I was more successful, even though I was doing all these different things, because in the long term, I knew I had to save for my house and things like that. So those are sacrifices that internally you may say, I should be doing better than this,
Yep.
but you do it for that long-term vision. That's the stuff that you won't necessarily see. So when you get involved in business, you have to be willing to make any of those sacrifices and put your ego to the side for the bigger picture.
Put that ego to the side because your girl bought me a Toyota in cash.
Yep.
Old, runs beautifully, right? And I don't care. Why you ain't getting no Mercedes? Why? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? That's a depreciating asset. I'm a wealth builder, right? So we gonna turn this over to Aisha. But before we do, Kiana, thank you so much for that. We're gonna come back to you in segment
Mhm.
2. But we have people tuned in from Chicago, San Diego, Venezuela, thanking you for the tips, saying that you're inspiring them. Lucretia says she has children herself, so she gonna keep that in
Amen.
mind. All of that good stuff. Thank you so much, Kiana. We're gonna turn this over to Aisha Taylor Issah. How are you, girlfriend?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I am awesome. I'm always look, I'm in the company of greatness. And when I'm in the company of greatness, I'm always well, right?
Absolutely. Same here. Same here. Thank you so much for having me, and it's a pleasure to be on with you and Keeana today.
Yes, ma'am. So we're gonna start the same way. I want to know who Aisha Taylor Issah is. Your story, not what you do yet, or maybe
Mhm.
it's a combination of both, but who you are. Tell me who you are.
I'm a girl from Flatbush, Brooklyn,
Oh,
who grew up in a one-bedroom apartment, raised by a God-fearing mother and, at the time, a drug-addicted father, and was really taught and instilled the value of faith and family. I am now an ordained minister, a servant in all capacities, a mom of an amazing, almost 2-year-old named Austin, a wife, a daughter, a sister, and a fierce lover of sisters in business. My entire life right now and platform is all about creating spaces and opportunities for my sisters in business to win. And so that's who I am.
yes, I love that. Now that's something we all have in common. When we talk about Black people, women, we want to see us win as a community. Okay, tell me what you do to make your money.
To make my money, honey, I work really hard. I work tirelessly to build the Sisters in Business Expo brand. We are the country's only multi-city small business expo and community created specifically to celebrate and educate entrepreneurial women of color. We do that through our expos, which are large-scale trade shows that we host in several cities around the country. We also have our Sisters in Business University, which is the teaching and training arm of our brand, where we provide free or low-cost courses and training on how to start, grow, or scale your business. We also have our Sisters in Business Foundation, which is our nonprofit entity where we provide grants to women of color entrepreneurs through our pitch competitions. And most recently, through our Sister Shop, which is our retail and e commerce destination, where we now house the brands of over 100 women of color entrepreneurs from around the country. We just opened our second location in Atlanta, Georgia. Our first
Yes,
location was
ma'am.
in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And we also have an e-commerce site where folks from all over the world can shop, one-stop shop for all brands by women of color.
Yeah, so let's go back to the expos really quick. How many of those, because you said you do multiple expos throughout the year. So how many expos are you hosting and where do you typically host those?
So we do 4 a year. We just had our first stop in Philadelphia last Saturday. Then we'll be in the DMV area on August 13th. We'll be in Atlanta on September 10th and Newark, New Jersey on October 21st and 22nd. We've also been to Columbia, South Carolina. Pre-COVID, we had Houston on our calendar, and so we're going to try to get back there next year, and just continue adding cities as the Lord sees fit.
Yes. And shameless plug, but one of my Kivas, also an entrepreneur, serious contributor to the community here in Chicago. Lucretia Atkins is in your store in Atlanta, Donning Day Creations.
Yes, she is.
Oh,
And we love her.
Yes, we do love her. I love her so much. So you guys make sure you check out Donnie Day Creations in one of the sister shops if you tune in from Atlanta or Jersey, or make sure you check her out at the Silver Room Block Party this weekend. That was a shameless plug for you, Lucretia. I see you online viewing.
Yes, hey girlfriend.
And that's what we do. We support our sisters. So how did you get here? How did you get to where you are now? How did you start to do this type of work?
Yeah, so this is not my first rodeo for entrepreneurship. My sister and I owned a career consulting business for over 15 years called Tailor Made Career Consulting. And we provided career services, recruiting services, etc. And I remember starting out that business over the years and always wanting to participate in expos and trade shows and things like that, but always found that the vendor fees were astronomical, or that they didn't necessarily cater to service-based businesses. And so I think that was really the backdrop for how we got here to Sistahs in Business around 2017, when American Express put out this piece on the fact that women of color were the largest and fastest growing demographic of entrepreneurs in the country. And it became this big buzz around that fact. But as you dug a little deeper, you learned that, yes, we are the largest and fastest growing, but we're also the least earning and least funded. And so that didn't sit well with me. And I wanted to really just think about ways that I could help to close that gap. And I guess that backdrop of expos and the great opportunities that they afforded, but the barriers to them for micro to small business owners who wanted to participate but saw them as something that was not accessible or affordable, was a solution. And so that's really how Sistahs in Business was birthed. I did not have any idea of what it would become. I thought I was just going to host, a couple of little events and go on about my business. God obviously had other plans, because immediately the response was tremendous and overwhelming. We knew there was a need for this, but I think we underestimated it, because right away, so many sisters, bought into what we were offering, expressed their appreciation and the need for a platform like this that did not exist, where they saw other large scale events that seemed like something that was impossible for them. We now were bringing them an experience that they could participate in. And then it quickly grew from just expos when those same women said, we want more. Right. We love the events. The events are great, but beyond the events, how can we continue to be service? How can we continue to stay connected? And so that's how the university came about, the foundation, because we were not going to wait for other people to give our sisters money. We were going to do it ourselves. And so that's how those entities came about. And then the store was a total curveball that we can thank COVID for, because in 2020, when we could not host our expos. And of course we did, some virtual conferences, and we went that route, and we increased our webinars and things like that, but there was still something missing. And we were trying to figure out how we could still serve sisters in business by providing them a platform, because that's what we've always done. And that's how the Sister Shop was birthed. And it has completely transformed our entire trajectory in our business model. Where we went when we opened our first store, we had 40 brands. Now we have over 100 and 2 locations, as well as the e-commerce site. And so it continues to expand and become a destination for sisters who don't know that they'll ever get their products in a store, right? Who feel like that's something that is, a far off dream, because they see, places like Target and Walmart and others who require huge POs and things that they might not be ready for, but they have a quality product and a quality brand that should be brought to the masses. And so we are providing that platform and that opportunity. And so it's been a blessing to be a blessing.
And the store is absolutely beautiful. I seen the one in Atlanta. I plan on going and spending all the coins when I'm there later this year. So that is a great job. Before we transition over into our commercial break, I wanted to ask you, how do you, a couple more questions really quick. How do you juggle being a mom? Did you mention being married as well?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you juggle the responsibilities of wifehood and motherhood with the being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, it has been a learning process. I must say, I don't think I get it right all the time. I have definitely had to learn and had to implement the importance of delegation. I remember when we opened the first store, and this is very transparent. There was a day when I was at the store for 12 hours. My son at the time was about 6 months old. And I remember leaving the store and getting in the car and weeping because I was away from him for that long. And that was really a wake up call for me that if I don't get help, I'm not going to make it. And this business is not going to make it. And so I have really learned to lean on the help that I do have, and to get more help when I need it. And so our team has grown significantly, and I'm learning to empower them to do the work that I've hired them to do. So now I don't even put myself on the schedule. I'm not at the store. That's why when people tell me they're coming to the store, I'm like, let me know when you're coming if you want to see me, because there's a strong possibility I won't be there. And of course I drop in often, but I'm not tied to it, because there are still so many other parts of the brand that need my attention, but also my family does. So
Yes, and I love that. And I mean, to be able to be on the path of mastering, not having to be into a retail location, is a whole challenge in itself that I hear a lot from individuals, like finding people that they can depend on and trust. That's huge. So congratulations to you on that. And really quick before we break to commercial, how do you define success?
success for me is doing what I love, so that others can be blessed, I guess. I really am all about helping other people to reach their full potential. This has been the running theme in all of my professions. So when I was a college professor, I wanted my students to excel. When I've served as, I'm a youth minister, so I want my young people to excel. As a career consultant, I wanted my clients to reach their career goals. And now as a leader of this brand, I want Sisters in Business to win. So success for me is seeing the people that I serve reach their fullest potential.
Yes, I love it. Thank you. So, what we all have in common is about that impact. What legacy are we leaving, and how are we touching other people? How are they succeeding? It's not just about our own individual success and come up, it's about the come up of other people as well. So, we're going to go ahead and break to a commercial and come back with our heart to heart segment.
Key Virtual Support Solutions matches you with highly qualified, pre-vetted entry to executive level talent for your business or personal needs. We can support you or your team with administrative, sales, customer service, or operation needs. The process is simple and we can match you within 72 hours. Call 217-212-4367 or visit our website at keysupportsolutions.com to learn more.
Very, very good, and welcome back. I am TeQuila Shabazz, the founder of and managing director of Key Virtual Support Solutions. If you guys need help, I think Aisha was just talking about that. Keeana, you and I talk about that all the time. It is critical if you want to go far, you bring a team on. That is the only way that you are going to scale and build your business. The sooner you can do that, figure everything out, the better off you'll be. I know for me, I learned that lesson the first 7 years I was in business, trying to do a lot of things on my own, and burned out, And the second time I got that lesson, I got the memo and brought people on immediately because, like you, I didn't expect for my business to become what it has become, right? And I could not have done it without the right team. Some of these, Lucretia trying to get this. I ain't tell y'all it was $50. Did I say? Yeah.
She's trying to get that prize. She's trying to get the prize.
Get that prize because she coming for these comments. She said, that the Keeana, we got that Chicago grit. She's from Chicago as well. She was like, yes, when my sisters win, we all win. The sister shop is the bomb. All that good stuff, honey.
Yes.
And that the store truly does help to open doors for you. So you guys, when we go to commercial break for Aisha and Keeana, Aisha, please let people know how they can get into the sister shop, because I'm sure we have some product-based businesses that would be more than happy to, get in the door. The store is absolutely beautiful. I can't say enough. So we're gonna move into the heart to heart. Okay. And so the first question is going to go to Keeana. I'm gonna ask you this, and then we'll kind of teeter between the two of us, the two of you. So my first one is: if you were talking to you from 10 years ago about life, okay, what would you tell you to do differently?
Okay. What would I tell myself to do different? I know you stumped me a little bit with that.
Because Keeana was like, I've always been focused. I've always known what I wanted to do. But 10 years ago, something you may have struggled with, because we all have our learning lessons that now that 10 years ago you would tell yourself. So your 30-year-old self.
I would tell myself to slow down, for one. I think sometimes we can just be so caught up in the activity that we really don't take the time to really plan right. Like, I'll strategize, but I don't actually take the time to implement it. So we've talked about this offline. I'm like, I always do my quarterly goals and those things, but sometimes being so focused on the activity that you don't actually accomplish the big goals that you want to have. But probably my biggest learning lesson is to build leadership. So how do you find leaders, and do you find them and cultivate them early? So I'm at a stage now where I'm really trying to cultivate that next level of leadership. So like Aisha said, you don't have to be in the store. As we expand, I have really big vision to expand our operation. So how do you develop leadership? So if I could have been doing that 10 years ago, I mean, WDB would be in a completely different place right now, because it wouldn't feel so heavy still on my shoulders, even though I have a partner. So slow down, be selfish. So what I'm trying to do at 40, at 30 would have been a great time to do it, because people will always pull at you. And we all notice when you're successful, when you're talented, when people see a light in you, they will pull at you. And that's okay, but it's only so much that you can give without taking away from yourself. Everything is a trade-off. So I think if I would have focused in a little bit more on some of the things that I'm now really intentional about hitting at 15 and 16 years in business, if I really did that, I had some of these same goals 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I let everything keep taking me away and pulling me away. So it would tell me to focus and build the leadership that I need to really get the company to the next level.
I love that. 10 years ago is when I started in business, right? When I left corporate and decided to start Bridge, I would have definitely told myself Start with what makes the money first.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Start with what makes the money first, and it will invest. You'll be able to invest in the things, to help other people. Right.
Yeah.
And I did that. I did it backwards.
You were heavily mission focused. So like you said, it's very
Heavily
easy
mission
to focus on the
focused.
mission. Mm-hmm.
Heavily mission focused. Just no profits in mind. And I come from a background of making money. Right. But so I just came out like, I'm gonna save the world, right? And couldn't say, and was drowning.
Yes.
Didn't save anybody. So that's one thing I definitely would have told myself. Now start with the money first to fund the mission work, because that's what I'm able to do now. What about you, Aisha? 10 years ago, Aisha.
Whew, I would have told that pretty young thing to travel the world. I wish I would have traveled more when I was younger and not a mom and, footloose and fancy free. I was too busy working and getting degrees and running businesses, and I should have taken more time to see the world. And of course, I know I can still do that, but that's one thing I would have told her. And to take better care of my health, and to make myself a priority. Definitely, I would tell her that too. And to invest, to break some of those financial barriers that our parents and grandparents had, and take advantage of other wealth building opportunities that they were not exposed to.
That is real.
And you
Look,
start.
yeah, 10 years ago, or a little bit less than 10 years ago, I accidentally, just through studying, invested in Bitcoin with a few, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have a lot of money. I was just, but listen, that investment grew substantially. And that was all by accident. And from that, I was like, well, what happens if I'm intentional about investing? So I completely understand that. Yo, executive suiters, the ones that are viewing, tell me what you would have done. What would you have told yourself 10 years ago? I'm interested in reading some of your comments. What would you have told yourself 10 years ago? Now, remember, I told y'all the one that most engaged gonna get something special along the lines of $50. $50. It's a twist to that though. Okay, so here's my question to you, Keeana. Going back to you, what are the top 3 to 5 principles that you live by? Like this is your rule. This is what governs your boundaries. Everything.
I feel like I need Aisha to go first on this one. TeQuila always had these hard questions.
It's not hard.
My top 3. I don't think about it. I think I just live. The guy that I know that's what I really feel like. But that God is always watching. Is a principle, like I said, that I felt in my spirit when I was young, when I was 7 years old. So I always live by that principle that He's watching. And it's not about being perfect because we're flawed and we do things every single day. But you live by a different principle when you feel like God is watching. And you always trying to make Him proud. Um, Hard work, nothing beats hard work. When I get on panels sometimes and people want to ask the secrets of success, I'm like, I'm a hard worker. I'm gonna be honest. I've been doing this. I put those hours in. I'm dedicated to the vision of making it happen. So nothing beats hard work. Some of us luck up and get a little bit faster or get a little bit different. But if you work hard and you constantly refine what it is that you want to do, you will hit it at some point. You may not hit it as fast as other people, but me. Did I go off? Okay. I try to be always a woman of my word. And I said that when I first started this business. So having integrity in business, I think that's probably one of the number one reasons that WDB has been able to scale the way we do. The fact that we work with over 1,000 Black owned businesses. I told somebody that the other day. They said that is not a small feat because Black owned, we can be a little particular. But we are a company of integrity. Again, nobody's perfect, but you always feel like you can come back to us. You can talk to us if it's an issue. We're not going to run away. And that's something I think that anything that you do, if you live by integrity, I try to live by integrity with everything that I do. You never have to worry if something's going to come back in a different way because you always been honest about it. So being a woman of God, hardworking, and And then also being a good friend. You know, that's something that's a principle for me. The people that I love. They know I love them, and I'm a loyalist. So no matter what, I'm always going to try to be there for you. Even if I'm super busy, I'm gonna still try to make a way to show you that I do care and I support you and that I hear you. So again, while we being successful, we always still got to go back to that core person. And why we hear everything ain't just business. It's also just about the relationships and the people that God have put in your life and making sure that you value them along the way. Don't just try to wait to the end. That's something I have to remind myself of because you can get so busy, as Aisha mentioned, that you realize you didn't miss the whole day with your family. And it's never more important. A goal is never more important than still spending time with family and friends.
Yeah, that is so big. I actually put a post up today about the importance of relationships, and
Mm,
I didn't have the same upbringing or instill. My people were just busy working and trying to survive. My people were in survival mode. My father was also drug and alcohol addicted, so I grew up very self motivated. Right, like
mm,
this is what I want. This is what I want, but I didn't learn about the value of relationships because you that starts with family. That's the first
yes.
lesson in the value. So I love that you said that, God watching, that's good, right? Like not other people, but God
Mm,
watching, right?
mm,
Hard working because a lot of people think that it just falls down and ooh, magically I'm here at seven figures.
yes.
Integrity and
Mm.
being a good friend. I love that. That gave me goosebumps right there. What about you, Aisha? I know she finna take us to church. I feel it in my spirit and in my soul.
So mine are similar. Two of them are really mantras that I learned growing up in church. One of them was if you just do what's right, God will bless you.
Mm,
Mm,
And that has stuck with me my entire life because we always have a choice. We always have options.
yeah.
But if we just do what's right, God will bless us. The other is God is in me, God is for me, God is with me, and where God is, there can be no failure.
Mm,
mm,
And so that has guided me as well when I don't feel adequate, when I don't feel qualified, when I don't feel even prepared. Because God is in me, I cannot fail. Um, and I think those are the two. I too am also um, really committed to my family. My family has supported this endeavor in a way that I can't even describe. When I think about it, it almost brings me to tears because when we first started and I didn't have a dime to pay anybody, I always said they came on their own dime and their own time and
mhm.
traveled to every city and made sure that these expos were executed flawlessly.
yeah.
Now that I am able to pay them and cover their expenses, I'm grateful. But I never forget the time that they came and didn't ask for a dime.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful, and I make it a point and a priority to always make sure that they are good and to be just as much of a support to them as they have been to me.
Yes, I love that. Relationships matter, y'all. They
Mhm.
really do. Now, our executive suiters said that some of the things they would have told themselves 10 years ago. Faith said, trust your gut, let go of self doubt.
Mm,
Donning Day, Lucretia said, find value in my parents' guidance and wisdom. I was a little hard headed back then. Ooh, that's a good one. Like listen to the guides that come across, your mentors, your parents, whoever it is, listen to them. They know, especially if they've been doing this, they seize it. Sister Taylor X said 10 years ago, I would tell myself to put my own oxygen mask on
mm,
first, then help others. Okay. Lou said 10 years ago, I was 18. I'd have told my younger self she is doing just fine and just to keep going. Okay. So we drop in uh, nuggets. And yeah, you guys, executive suiters, what are the 3 to 5 principles that you live by? What are they?
mm.
I'm just interested in hearing what you guys have to say so that we can share them. Now, remember, I'm looking for my most engaged, and I'm seeing some folks. I'm gonna have this last question for the heart to heart segment, and I want you guys to really dig deep. I'm gonna start with you, Keeana. What has been your greatest sacrifice to date as a business owner? I ain't gonna say throughout your whole life, that could be a lot, but as a business owner, what do you think you sacrificed the most?
Probably my own personal comfort.
Mm.
Like my own personal comfort. I'm always so focused on the impact and what's next, and that's not necessarily a healthy trait. So that's something that I'm cheerleading. But I think I've sacrificed my own personal well-being a little bit along the way because I was so focused on building this vision and making an impact. But I think that I talk about Martin and Malcolm. I mean, talk about self-sacrifice, where people literally live their lives in a way that they know it will be cut short because of the things that they believe in.
Mm.
I've sacrificed a lot. I mentioned briefly my history a little bit, but I came straight out of Northwestern, so I could have went and got a corporate, comfy job and probably making probably more money than I make now, honestly, in corporate America, because I'm confident in who I am.
Yeah.
Um, but I sacrificed for 10 years. I kept the same car. I stayed at home with family. I sacrificed a lot of different things for that bigger vision. So again, Keeana could have been selfish and said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go after this corporate check. I'm gonna go live downtown, live good for a little bit, and then come back. But I literally came out the gate with a bigger vision and a bigger impact in mind. So I've sacrificed my time, which is why at 40, I want to switch that a little bit and come back to me a little bit more. But I think that's just something that we struggle with as women, and as driven entrepreneurs. That balance. Like I said, oftentimes you'll be the first to let go of yourself, because guess what? You only got to account for yourself. You can make it up to yourself. You can excuse yourself later. But self-care, all of those things. But I am switching that. That's not something, again, that I'm cheerleading. But I will say that I gave a lot of my time to get the business where it is at now. And now it's time to replenish that and put it back in me and do things that I want to do and love to do and build me. I might get that Mercedes tequila. I don't know. But travel the world, like honestly, travel the world is something that I want to do. Do those things while I still build the business, not
Yeah.
sacrificing Keeana's dreams and visions and putting all that stuff on hold because I feel like I'm so obligated to this business and so obligated to building it that I don't do the things that I do, because nobody's guaranteed any time on this earth. We
That's
want to
right.
think that we're going to live to a certain amount, but we don't know. So I can't be so focused on just that vision that I don't enjoy it and take time for myself along the way.
Yeah, that was a turning point for me. I remember it was 1 week. Um, it was 1 week, and three people that we all know, they were community people. They all died in the same week, like a day apart,
Hmm.
right? And I said, if I were to go right now, would I leave satisfied with how I've been
Yeah.
living my life and leading my life? Would I be, would this be enough, or would I have regret? Which
Mm.
I work hard to stay away from regret. So now and that's when I made the decision. It was in that moment, actually, that was in 2019. It was in that moment that I made the decision that I'm traveling the world. I'm gonna give up
Mm.
all of this stuff. I'm gonna purge these things that I'm holding on to, and I'm going to travel the world. Now, I would have finished had COVID not hit, right? I was
Hmm.
on country number 3 when COVID hit, but I still live in that same principle and that same philosophy of not of living my life very purposeful and intentional, so that I have no regrets. And I still travel a lot. We'll continue internationally next year. So Aisha, I'm gonna close it out with you. Same exact question. What has been your greatest sacrifice to date?
Definitely my time. As much as I talk about, my family and my son and how important they are to me, I would, not be completely honest if I didn't say there were times that I could not be there,
Yeah.
right? Where I've had to miss out on my nephew's baseball games, or, his 10th, birthday party, or other family affairs and events. Of course, I try to minimize those as much as possible. And I even moved 600 miles across the country so I could be closer to my family. So now I've really been able to minimize the times that I miss out. But it's been time, because it has taken a lot of time to build this brand. I don't, this entrepreneurial life and club is one that you don't get unless you get it, right? Like if you're not in it, if you haven't experienced it, it's hard for people outside to understand. So as much as my family does support, there are times when they may not understand, or friends who might not get it, or even if they do, they might, still feel a little slighted. And of course, we never want that, but it has taken a lot of time, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, to build this brand, a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings, a lot of long days, a lot of time. And so the goal, of course, is to get to a place where, as we all say, you're not working as much in the business as you are on the business. And so I'm getting there, right? I definitely have more flexibility with my time, but it has not been easy.
Yes, that's big. That is huge. Let's go ahead and break to a commercial break where you guys are going to have 60 seconds to tell us about your business. This is your 60-second elevator pitch to promote to the audience. We're going to start with you, Keeana. So Tanisha, our lovely producer, will go ahead and put you up on the screen. You're on, Keeana.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I am Keeana, CEO of WDB Marketing, and we own a branding, graphics, and printing company. So we love to build businesses. So everything from, if you just starting your business, you need your logo design, you need your website developed, you need a photo shoot done. We do all things visual marketing. Two, you just want to rebrand. I'm always in the business that everything needs to be refreshed every 2 or 3 years. So you need a refresh website, a refresh look. So we do all things graphic design, marketing, and printing. So the beautiful thing about everything that we do is we actually have a printing company. So anything we create, we're going to make sure that it looks beautiful. So if you need custom t-shirts done, business cards, flyers, any type of sign for an event, we are the go-to company for you. And again, just what I've been talking about today is more than just transaction for us. We want to make sure that you're successful in business.
That's right. Thank you. And listen, I use WDB Marketing for all of my print needs. I'm in the digital space a lot, but even before this, I was using, that's the number one. I don't even say nobody else. WDB. Great work, reliable, affordable, and I know that my money is going right back into the community as well. And that's very important for me. When I spend my money, who are you spending your money with? Right? And we all need to ask ourselves. It's called responsible consumerism. Okay, Aisha, let's go ahead and bring her up to let us know about her business. You're on, Aisha.
All right. The Sistahs in Business Expo is the country's only multi-city small business expo and community, created specifically to celebrate and educate entrepreneurial women of color. Specifically, we are underway with our 2022 Expo tour. And so we have 3 stops left with opportunities to be a vendor, a sponsor, a volunteer, a speaker, a media press person. So if you head on over to that website right there, sistahsinbusinessexpo.com, you'll find the information on how you can apply for the various opportunities. Our remaining tour cities and dates are the DMV area on August 13th, Atlanta, Georgia on September 10th, and Newark, New Jersey on October 21st and 22nd. Also, if you're interested in applying to have your products sold at the Sistah Shop in either location, you can visit thesistahshop.com, and that's SISTAH, thesistahshop.com.
Yes, the sister. Put it with some emphasis. Put some emphasis on sister, okay?
Yes.
I definitely want to see how I can look. My travel plans are so booked, but I swear I'm gonna go and look at how my assistant look at my dates, because they won't let me put nothing on my calendar because I'll be double booking myself, and so I've had to move away and be like, is it okay if I add?
Right. But the good news is, like we tell everyone, you can shop online until you can get to the store.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna be shopping.
And we ship every day.
Say that website one more time.
Sistahshop.com, and it's SISTAH, Sistahshop.com. And you can shop all of our brands right online, and we ship every single day.
That's right. Keeana, where do you service? Is it the Chicagoland area, or are you not, like, tell us where you service?
Oh no, we can service nationally, so we can ship. We're based in the suburbs, South Holland. You can go to WDBmarketing.com, but you can also come in. So if you're in Illinois, definitely come in our shop. We have a lot of inspiration and ideas that can help you grow your business. But you can also go online, and we'll be adding our e-commerce feature. But you can message us, and we ship everything nationally right now.
Yes, I love it. So you guys, it is no excuse not to support these beautiful sisters in business. And this is a very rare space right here with the Executive Suite, where we are literally talking to women who not only started business or are starting business or are just entrepreneurs, but they achieved a certain level of success, which speaks a lot about the work, the sacrifices, the years, the love, because you have to have a love. I think, Aisha, you said it, you got to be built a certain way for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this ain't for the faint at heart.
This is not. And I mean, we living in a time now where, the workforce has changed. So people are throwing out very loosely that they're entrepreneurs. Talk to me in 2-3 years for real, where you're consistently growing and going, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You got some stories to tell, right? You've got some sacrifices to share. So this is why I'm very selective about who I bring on the show, because I want to inspire those who are just starting out. And I want you to hear the stories of women, because our journey looks different than men. Men, you don't really hear them talk about how they didn't see their family a lot until they retire. Right? There's a guilt that comes into this. I waited. As soon as my daughter hit high school, look, she couldn't graduate good enough. I was like, okay, I did my part. You got a full scholarship. You got this. So long, I'm out, right? And now she has that bug too, and she's also an entrepreneur. So we are moving into our next segment. It's called WTF Ever. Okay. So what I'm crazy. Before we start, I wanted to share some of the comments from our executive suiters here. And you guys make sure that you are subscribing to the YouTube channel. You're following the Executive Suite page. You can even follow me on my page. I've made it now where, I'm friendly to everybody. Everybody's welcome. Okay. So, some of the feedback. Hey, Sharisa, good to see you. She sent a shout out to Keeana as well. Principals, Lucretia coming for the bag. That's all I want to say is Lucretia coming for the bag. You guys, you got one more segment to really engage. And I see you here. I see that we have the audience. I want to see you engage. It's $50 that I'm just going to give to somebody, because I like to bless you. Okay. So Lucretia said that 3 principles: family, community, and reciprocity. Okay. And then Sister Taylor X said, working hard to never have regrets. Okay, she was agreeing with me. Lucretia also says, your stories make me feel like being in business is a constant evolution of phases. It reminds me to keep going, keep flowing, be okay with change, and keep my bootstrap for that hard work, baby. It's a ride. It's a ride for real. And that's what you hear from all of us, right, y'all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
A roller coaster.
A whole roller coaster with a lot of twists, turns that you just do not get off, and there's no breaks. She also said that she's going to try out your business, WDB, for her pluggers, because Canva get enough of her money. Okay. Lou said that she loved learning from people that are where she's headed, and she definitely is. Thank you for being so honest about your journey. That's why we do this. And then Sharisa said that 10 years ago, she would have told herself to be more intentional about what she creates and what she wants to get out of it. You deserve to profit from your gifts as well. That is so important. Know your mission and know your purpose, because it is your guiding light. And I think Dr. Shantae Taylor said it, that's the God in you. That's what's going to keep you on path. That's what's going to get you through those really hard times, is if you are tied to a mission and a purpose and really are clear about your why and your vision. Okay. Woo! That was a mouthful, and I don't got no water, and I didn't grab no water during the break. I was scared. But we're about to do something a little fun. I am going to start with you, Aisha. Give Keeana a break, man.
Yes.
I like to flip it up and surprise y'all a little bit, okay? So this is our last segment, and I like to have fun with this segment, right? And look, executive suiters, when I say it, you too can comment. This is your time. This is your comeback time, because Lucretia right now, listen, and it's quite a few of y'all, so listen up. This one that we're doing is called quick responses, right? And with quick responses, what I say a word, and you tell me what that word reminds you of. I don't need a whole big paragraph, just no more than a sentence. When I say a word, you tell me what you think of. It could be matched with another word, but word, first thing that comes to your mind. Y'all ready?
I think so.
Okay. You ready, executive suiters? Y'all ready? Okay, we finna do this. Okay, so Aisha, I'm gonna start with you. Clock is ticking. We gonna go through it. Ready? Sisterhood.
Expo.
Ooh, shameless plug. Woman.
Fearless.
Sacrifice.
Who? My mom.
Ceremony.
My wedding.
Privilege.
White people.
Aging.
Inevitable.
Struggle.
Struggle. I want no parts of it.
Mentality.
Super important.
Faith.
My everything.
Spiritual.
Who I am.
Religious.
My upbringing.
Alpha woman.
Powerful.
Education.
Important.
Emotional intelligence.
Super important.
Okay, great. Now look, I didn't see nothing from my audience. Okay.
They probably still thinking like I was trying to think.
No, this hard.
This ain't hard. It ain't hard. It's okay. It's a brain exercise. I love that.
It is.
But if I was in y'all's shoes, it'd be so hard. I'd be sweating. I'd be like, ooh. Okay, so we're gonna flip it to you, Keeana. It's on you. You ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say what comes to mind.
Success.
Impact.
Forgiveness.
Family.
Love.
So that came up a whole bunch of stuff. I was gonna say marriage, but desire too.
Was that the first one though?
Marriage was the first thing that came to mind.
Okay, we're sticking with the first one. We're gonna have a talk after this. Therapy.
Needed. Necessary.
Young tender.
My weak spot sometimes.
Sisterhood.
I think of my sister circle, my best friends since freshman year of high school.
Sacrifice.
Life.
Privilege.
White. I think it's the same thing. White privilege.
Everybody think of that. Is it because we Black?
I think so. I think that's the term that we so used to with privilege. Like we don't think about what privilege with us. We like what do we have that's like when it came as a privilege?
Privilege. Ceremony.
Family.
Struggle.
Freedom.
Faith.
Foundation.
Legacy.
Who I am.
Team.
Necessary.
Education.
My grandmother.
Alpha woman.
Me.
Religious.
Not necessary.
Spirituality.
Very necessary. Connection, God.
Faith.
Foundation.
Very good. Okay. I
I'm
love
with Sister Taylor.
it.
It's a little fast, but yes.
Yes,
I know that's a little therapy, ain't it? So, like what triggered
yes,
that word? What
it
triggered that
is.
word?
It is. And look, this is WTF ever, so anything can happen in this segment, and so it's about to happen. What is one of this question right here? What has been the most complicated thing about aging for you, Aisha?
My ailments.
Mm.
This
You want to talk
body,
about it?
this body ain't loyal, child. I have some foot issues, which is a problem when you got a retail store and you run expos. You got to be on your feet for hours and hours and hours. And just things don't move like they used to. And me realizing that I got to do a better job of taking care of myself. That is really that, and watching my parents age. Because that has been difficult. The roles have definitely reversed, and being a caretaker, and trying to run a business and have your own family adds a whole nother layer of responsibility. And so that has been a challenge because as I get older, they've gotten older, and of course have required more help.
Yeah. Now that's one that people I've heard body, right? Like ailments and all that, but watching our parents age, that's a whole nother level. Keeana, what about you? I know you just entered the 40 club. Maybe you're just now starting to think about it.
No, I've been thinking. No, honestly, I was going to say exactly what Aisha said. Parents, like that's probably been my biggest challenge is realizing that we all have a limited amount of time, and watching my parents age. My dad specifically, so I became his caretaker over the last 5 years, and it was like really unexpected. So like just watching your parents age is a very sobering thing, and it makes you realize that time has a stamp, and so the other thing, because Aisha really went into it, caretaking, seeing them, feeling like, we all have a limited amount of time, and also having to balance your time
Yeah.
now, because now you have a different set. I was going to say responsibility was the other word that came up with Asia, because I now have a different set of responsibilities the older I get, almost, because the roles do reverse. So really just that, and just also it's not regret, but like realizing like it is not an infinite amount of time we have. When you're 25 and you 30, you feel like you have so much longer. But once you start hitting those certain milestone ages, you just really realize that it's a finite amount of time that we personally have on this earth. So the sense of urgency changes.
Yeah.
The sense of getting things together and fixing, like I said, what took me 10 years to finally cut, like I'm not gonna take another 10 years to figure it out. I'm doing this in 1 to 2 years. We both got those rapid goals, TeQuila, when we want to get things done. So just that time sensitiveness. But most sobering is truly definitely your parents. You take for granted that they're gonna always be there and kind of in that same shape. But the older you get, the older they get.
Man, that's something that I didn't even stop, because to think about, because my mom is still pretty much, she was young
Active,
when
she
she,
active.
when she had me, and so she's still moving around. So I don't think I've hit that reality yet as it pertains to her. And my relationship is not one where I see my father or talk to my father often. But I know that he's going through some things. So I think that, it'll hit different probably in the next 10 years. And it's also why I am working diligently to set up my life where I really want to resign from having to work and making work being in a work optional space in the next 3 to 5 years, right? So we're going to go to a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to go ahead and close out with some of our takeaways from this evening. And one last question to close it out. Think about that ratchet song that you love. I'm just giving y'all a chance to think about that ratchet song that gets you through the day. It might not be a ratchet song. It might be a gospel song. I forget Aisha is an ordained minister, so let me know my best. Y'all see how she looked at me?
Listen, I ain't that type of ordained minister, okay?
That's right. She is a youth minister.
Your girl is from Brooklyn, okay? And I know what's up. All right.
I know it. So we're gonna come back and close it out with some fun stuff. Let's go ahead and break to commercial.
Key Virtual Support Solutions matches you with highly qualified, pre-vetted entry to executive level talent for your business or personal needs. We can support you or your team with administrative, sales, customer service, or operation needs. The process is simple and we can match you within 72 hours. Call 217-212-4367 or visit our website at keysupportsolutions.com to learn more.
Are back. You guys know what to do if you need a VA. Look, it's not just for business owners. I get quite a few people who are busy executives or busy professionals that also use virtual assistants to help them get their life in order. Look, I use my own supply for everything, for personal and professional. Yesterday, I actually had a friend say, yeah, let's go to lunch. I don't have to hit your assistant, do I? Was like, yeah, kind of. Because it's all over the place and it ain't personal, but they handle my calendar for real, you know? So it is for everybody that is very busy and want to get some organization in their life. Make sure that you hit up Key Support Solutions. We are the absolute best. And what makes us completely unique is that 99.9% of the people that we service are Black women, and 99.9% of our talent are Black women. So that's something, Sid. I said Sid. I called you Sid. Aisha for Sid Expo. That I would love to be a part of it. If not this year, definitely in the we got to talk about collaborations on the real.
Absolutely. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Okay. Speaking of what making it happen, Sharice is definitely, she said it's definitely not for the faint of heart. She actually, I know she's a long time entrepreneur doing her thing here in the Chicagoland area. So she understands. And I know she consistent. It's been over a couple years. So the honeymoon stage over. Once you get out that honeymoon stage, then come talk to me about being an entrepreneur. Sister Taylor asks, is Key hired? Always. So if you got the skills, bring them through. And I'm going to tell you something. And we bring on contractors from all walks of life, meaning that if you are a business owner and you're trying to supplement your income, we do that. We have you here. It's a lot of people that have come up through that. I mean, talk to Lucretia. It helps to put her in a position, not only financially, but the mentorship that she received from the woman that she was supporting, right? As a client. And she has been with me. She's one, now she works directly. She could focus on her business with Donning Day Creation, and she works with us at Key because, again, she can speak personally of the benefits on both the client side as well as the talent side. So y'all make sure that if you need, if you're looking for some extra work, whether that's part-time, full-time, this is what you do, and you have skills with administrative, sales, customer service, or operations, you can definitely hit us up. Enough about Key, though. We're about to go into these last little tidbits before we close out. It's been so fun, y'all.
It has been.
So fast.
Yes.
Y'all have fun?
Absolutely.
I did. I want to connect with you too, Aisha. I love
that. Thank you.
Yes, let's do it. And you have to come up here, Aisha, for Keana's annual Legacy Awards, which is a big, big deal here in Chicago, right? So you do an expo, and she does the awards as well as a conference, and it's really, really nice. So make sure that you come up here. It's in February. It's cold here, but you from Brooklyn, so you can handle it.
Y'all got a different kind of cold over there, though.
Everybody say that about every cold state. Say that it's not.
Listen,
Minnesota.
I love Chicago. It's a beautiful city, but my time frame usually start around May. We'll see what I get.
Grace.
I'm gonna have to get get me a fur coat or something to come over there. Jesus,
don't get your fur. Don't get your fur and come on up here. We need your energy. It'd be great.
I would love that.
Okay, so what advice, because I know that we have quite a few entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, those who may be executives and thinking about transitioning out, male, female, they're on. What advice would you give those starting in their careers as entrepreneurs? Go ahead, Keeana.
So many things. I would probably say really obsessing over your customer needs to really understand what your customer needs. So it's beyond. So if you do something, what really makes you indispensable? What makes them need you? So TeQuila, you figured it out with Key. Like, what are those pain points? What are they searching for at night? What keeps them up at night? So I would just say obsess on over delivering and really understanding your customer. And the other thing is always evolving it to meet their next level of needs, because the world is changing so rapidly. It may not even be what they need now. It's what do they need in 2023, 2024. So we've always adapted our company to meet that next level of needs for the entrepreneur. So when you're in business, if you can stay ahead of what your customers need, they're going to always need you.
Yes, I love that. And Aisha, what about you?
One thing I find is that, particularly with Black women in business, that we focus so much on perfecting our craft, whether it's our product or our service, that we don't spend time learning, number one, how to run a business, and then number two, how to market that product or service. And so, and we usually try to play catch up, right? Because we've got this great product or this great service, but now how do we get people to buy it or take advantage of it? And so my advice is always to spend just as much time building the business side and the marketing side as you do building the product or the service from the onset. So that way you can have a steady growth for both entities, because otherwise you're going to be just sitting looking at these great products and nobody's going to know about them.
That's huge. That's huge. Get your back office in order. I cannot tell you enough about processes, right? So the goal of scaling is being able to bring somebody in to do the work. And if you bring somebody in and you have not documented your workflow flows, don't understand your standard operating procedures, don't know what kind of culture you want to create because you've been in this solopreneur mindset, it's going to be very difficult for you to scale. So I definitely agree with both of you ladies. And I would say get out your head. Get out your head and do it. Get out your head and just do it. Now, it's gonna be things that you have to learn along the way. In addition to operations and marketing, I'm going to definitely say, and this because marketing falls under operations, but I want to be very specific. Get an accountant, Jay. Get an accountant. You do not want to get caught up with taxes. You do not want to get up not understanding your profit margins, because it was a very sobering experience for me. I got smacked in the face a couple times. I'm good at what I'm good at, right? Be honest with yourself about what you're not good at. Get in the room with people that know more than you. It's okay not to be the smartest. Listen, right? And operate it so that you can operate efficiently within your zone of genius. So entrepreneurship requires a lot of listening, a lot of flexibility, and a lot of jumping off cliffs and experimenting. Like, God, I know you got wings, so we gonna fly. That's it. That's all. I love that. What is the greatest takeaway from our conversation today, Keeana, for you?
The greatest takeaway is, I don't know, I always like to listen. So I've been listening to Aisha, her journey, and just hearing the different ways that she scaled. So I was just inspired how you were able to turn kind of like that one idea and multiply it into so many different things, and not be afraid. So getting a brick and mortar store is completely different.
Ooh, I was afraid.
Yeah. So I've just been listening. I always listen to everything. But I love that. So like, I'm interested now in your brand. I want to see it online. I want to go, when I go back to Atlanta, I got to go to the store itself, and it's needed having a store that's only representing Black women. So that was my takeaway, just kind of hearing Aisha's story.
I love it. Executive Suiters, tell me your takeaway. This look, listen. I see some people that caught up a little bit with Lucretia, but let's see some takeaways up in the comments. Tell me, what was your greatest takeaway from this conversation? Keeana said was listening to Aisha's journey, and how she started with understanding a need from what she was doing before, and then building out on that need all the way up to a retail location. We started with 1 and now 2, and it's absolutely beautiful, and e-commerce. So make sure you guys check that out. Aisha, what has been your greatest takeaway from today's conversation?
Yeah, well, first I just want to say I was afraid, Keeana. I'm always afraid, believe it or not. I just try to have my faith be greater than my fear. And I think we all probably can identify with that, right? Like, there are some parts of this journey where that fear is going to kick in, but we have to be so passionate that we're willing to do it anyway, because we trust in a power greater than ours. I think my biggest takeaway has been what we kind of have all echoed, which is that relationships matter. And that, one of my pet peeves is when I hear people say they're self-made. And no shade to anybody who says that, but I don't agree with it. I don't think any of us can really be self-made, because we all need other people, whether it's family, our friends, our customers, our mentors. None of us gets to where we are on our own. So relationships have been key for me. God has been so amazing in sending me the right people at the right times. And there have been some times when we didn't have the right people, and we've learned how to show them on their way. Just like in life, there are people who are going to be with your business for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And those people who season has ended or reason has ended, we have to be willing and able to let them go. So that's really been the biggest takeaway for me. It's just that necessary reminder that relationships matter, that we can't do this on our own, and that we need our sisters.
Yes, we definitely do. She threw shade because I said self-made women. Look, listen.
Oh, did you say that? No, girl, I'm half sick over here.
No, but I want you guys to see how I'm laughing at it, because she is absolutely correct. When I say self-made, though, and I want clarity, I want this on the record. I mean, no. I
really didn't remember you saying that. I'm on cold medicine right now, so my long-term memory is
no apology necessary, because I agree with that. I think I've read something with Keeana around that, and there's no way that I could get here. I've said this too, without having team and community around me, and relationships matter. So I want to be very clear when I say self-made in my context. I'm meaning you didn't have nobody write you $100,000 check for your vision when you first said that this is what I wanted to do. You had to go out and seek the resources, take the classes, fall on your face and learn the lessons, and keep going despite of. It didn't come easy.
Yeah, you had to do the work.
It was God, and it was the God in you that helped you to continue going. So when I say self-made, I don't mean that I'm doing it all by myself and I don't need nobody. Ain't no way I could have built Key to what it is. Keeana could have built WDB, or Aisha with the Sistahs in Business Expo. No way you can do that alone, because it requires people.
Yes,
absolutely.
Everything we do requires people. So relationships absolutely matter. And in the way that Aisha explained self-made, that's absolutely correct. And I say it for the record, I'm talking about nobody was like, here, TeQuila, here go $100,000. That's a great idea. Matter of fact, Aisha touched on it. As Black women in business, nobody checking for us for real, except for to write a great story about and talk about the statistics, right? So I applaud those who are doing the work to change the trajectory of the outcomes for our businesses, right? Self-made for us looks like a Civ Expo doing what she does to bring recognition to the business. Self-made is a WDB that does, work with 800 or so Black-owned businesses. Self-made is key hiring and supporting Black businesses, primarily women. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, do for self. And when he said that, it didn't mean do for yourself. It meant do for your people, do for your community. And that's what I mean by self-made. And this has been great. But before I go, what's your ratchet song, Aisha? Because now I'm curious.
Bodak Yellow.
What? My girl.
Come on through with it.
Come on,
and don't get me on my Biggie tip,
What? Oh man, you are from
I'm a Brooklyn girl, so it's BK already. Biggie Smalls is the illest. Live from Bedford-Stuyvesant, the livest one. Represent BK to the fullest.
What? She didn't flexed on y'all.
Aisha showed out.
Look, listen, Biggie. Look, we here now.
Yeah.
We go together. We sisters.
I already knew that. I told you at live. I was like, you don't really know me like that, but I know you. You my sister.
Keeana, what's your? Because you throw on any Biggie, any Cardi B, I'm live. I'm lit.
Yeah, I said I'm glad you asked me beforehand. Probably that Meek Mill's Dreams and Nightmares. It never miss. It never misses. So always pump you up. Always. But I still listen to a lot of old school. So Outkast, I still listen to. I still do love Biggie Life After Death album. So if I'm just like trying to get in the zone, I will put on 90s hip hop because it kind of take me back to a different time and vibe. But yeah, Meek Mill always
definitely does. I love it, y'all. I had so much fun. When we in Atlanta, Keeana, you gonna be in Atlanta in October?
Yes, I plan on coming.
Aisha, you gonna be in Atlanta in October?
That's where I am. That's where I live.
Oh yeah, you already in Atlanta. What am I talking about? I'm sorry. I went back to Brooklyn for a second.
I know. Listen, I still don't remember. Sometimes I'm here now. Okay, it's still growing on me. But yes, I will be here, and I look forward to it.
Look, listen. So then let's all try to, with our crossover date, let's all try to grab a meal together. Okay?
Absolutely.
Oh, I love it.
There's lots of good places to eat by the Sister Shop.
It's sure. And look, I'm all about taking that little field trip on over there. How late y'all open?
During the week, Monday to Thursday, we're open till 8 p.m. Friday and Saturday till 9 p.m. And Sunday 12 to 7. So
all right, that sounds good. That sounds good. So you guys, it was great having you on. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Of course, I'll be in touch. Denicia, throw up what we're going to give our guests today, Keeana and Aisha. Let them know what we got in store for them. So we're going to give you guys a gift out of our Key Culture store, just a little small something to say thank you. It's a mug. We all love a good mug, okay? Yes. And for everybody else, you guys can go and visit shop.keysupportsolutions.com and our Key Culture store, and you will find all kinds of goodies in there, from t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, etc. Check it out. And listen, I need y'all to also drop y'all emails in no, don't do that. I know who won. I know how to reach you. Lucretia got y'all out the box. Lucretia, you got that $50, but you're going to get a $50 gift card to our Key Culture store so you can shop and get anything it is that you like. Until next week, I'll see you guys. Thank you, Keeana. Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you. Can I give away something real quick?
Oh, we giving away gifts? Come on, let's go.
Yeah, we got a close second over here, and her name is Taylor, like my Taylor. So I feel like sis needs something. So I want to give her $50 to the sistershop.com.
Oh, yes. Sis Taylor X, you heard that, sis. Hit Executive Suite. Denise, I need you to connect with Sis Taylor X and hit her up. Keeana, you trying to give away some? We all give it.
Yeah, I'll put the pressure on me. I'm like, look at that. I don't mind giving it away. I don't have no codes or anything, but we can get some business cards away. I'm sure everybody here.
Business cards. Who needs some business cards? Drop it in.
I don't know who's third. Yes.
Sis
no,
Taylor
who will
X
be
was like,
third?
oh my God, yes, ma'am, thank you. So hit us up, Sis Taylor X, hit us up at the Executive Suite in our messages on our Facebook page and let us know your email. Okay.
So who will be third place? We got
already on
Sister
the
Taylor
email too.
and Dawn and Nate. Who will be third?
Okay, so who needs some business
Teresa?
cards? Who?
I'm trying to
She's
think
trying to say who was third. There was somebody named Faith who was pretty active. I'm not sure.
Faith was. She got to still be here. So this is what we're gonna do. If someone claims,
She did. She like, yes, I'm here.
Like, yes, Faith, you need some business cards, honey, because your name came up. Kiana want to give you some business cards. Any print, if you need a print of some business cards for your business,
or just $50 in print credit. Yeah,
$50 in print credit. $50 in print credit. You got a couple seconds to tell me yes, you need those business cards. Say, give me my card.
She already said it, honey. She said yes.
I just want to make sure she's saying yes to the right thing, because she could have been talking about all the love going around on here.
Okay.
But we can assume she did come back. So my Denicia will take care of you at the Executive Suite. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on and sharing gifts and all kinds of stuff. Look, y'all came in lit, throwing gifts out here. That's what it's about right here.
Listen, our trademark slogan is "When my sister wins, we all win." So
that's right.
That's what we all about, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
It has been.
All right, enjoy your weekend. All right,
bye bye.
Did y'all have fun?
Of course.
Did y'all have fun, my Executive Suiters? Yes. Tell me that you have had fun. Let me know. Yes, you love the show. And I'm going to tell you something. I know Sis Taylor X, Faith, you want those business cards. Good. You can definitely hit us up in our Executive Suite Facebook Messenger and let them know that you want the cards. And you can have them. Sis Taylor X, the same thing, so that we can make sure that you get what you need from the sister shop. So $50 went around. It was $150 that we circulated back into our community today. Other sisters coming up in business. I absolutely love that. You guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. And I'm going to tell you, keep tuning in. Keep tuning in with us the first and third Friday of every single month. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube, turn on the notifications, make sure that you're following us, because we have a special gift to give out. Our last episode for this season will be in November, but in December, we're going to have like a special little lunch and invite all of our guests that have been on the Executive Suite in for this lunch. And it's a whole big deal that I'm doing, and I'm going to take care of you. So if you are new here, keep following along. I'm definitely going to invite only a few of our Executive Suiters, our number ones. Make sure you're sharing. Make sure you letting other people know, because it's nothing like this that exists. Take us out, Denicia. You guys have a fabulous Friday. I had so much fun. Bye-bye.